Forgiveness and redemption are the keys to a peaceful and purposeful life. Our lives are journeys filled with various trials and tribulations. Amidst these challenges, we often encounter individuals who mistreat us in ways that cause deep pain and lasting emotional scars. But through God's divine guidance, we can find the strength within ourselves to rise above resentment and bitterness, embracing instead a path of profound healing and compassion. Throughout our lives, there will inevitably be times when we cross paths with people who treat us unfairly, people who belittle us, or even harm us emotionally or physically. Such encounters can leave deep and lasting scars on our hearts, prompting us to harbor negative emotions like resentment, anger, or bitterness. It is entirely natural to feel hurt, angry, betrayed, and disillusioned when we experience mistreatment from others. However, dwelling on these negative emotions can often lead us into a destructive and toxic cycle of negativity, a cycle that not only harms our emotional and mental health, but also prevents us from living a life filled with joy, purpose, and peace. In our most difficult and despairing moments, God gently reminds us of the profound power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean condoning, excusing, or minimizing the harmful actions of others. Instead, forgiveness is a conscious and deliberate choice to liberate ourselves from the heavy burden of anger, resentment, and hatred. God teaches us that forgiveness is never a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a courageous demonstration of strength, resilience, and grace. By actively choosing to forgive, we are able to free ourselves from the pain of the past, opening our hearts to healing and allowing God's grace to flow abundantly into our lives. Certainly, forgiveness is not a simple or easy process. The pain inflicted by mistreatment can run deep, and sometimes the scars feel too permanent to heal. However, with God's unwavering support and boundless love, we can find within ourselves the courage and determination necessary to forgive those who have mistreated us. When we choose forgiveness, we pave the way for our own personal growth, spiritual development, and emotional transformation. Often, those who mistreat or harm others are themselves paying a heavy internal price. Such individuals are usually struggling profoundly with their own inner demons, insecurities, fears, or unresolved traumas. Their actions often reflect their own internal turmoil, a projection of pain and unhappiness onto others. While this truth never justifies or excuses harmful behavior, it provides insight that hurting people frequently hurt others. This understanding can help us move from a place of bitterness to a place of compassion, empathy, and understanding. God lovingly calls us to show compassion and empathy even toward those who mistreat us. He encourages us to see beyond the surface of harmful actions and recognize that the person causing harm is likely battling significant internal struggles. When we choose to harbor hatred or seek revenge, we inadvertently empower their actions, allowing negativity and pain to continue dictating our own emotional and spiritual states. God's wisdom urges us to break this harmful cycle, replacing resentment and revenge with empathy, understanding, and genuine prayer for the healing and redemption of those who have harmed us. Responding to mistreatment with love rather than hatred is indeed challenging. Our human nature often calls us to seek immediate justice or retaliation, to fight fire with fire. Yet God's divine wisdom guides us toward a more enlightened path, a path marked by love, patience, and understanding. Choosing love over hatred doesn't imply we should tolerate abuse or remain in harmful situations. Rather, it means responding to negativity from a place of compassion and strength, refusing to let bitterness consume our hearts. God's love for each of us is limitless, unconditional, and eternal. We are called by Him to embody this powerful love in every interaction, even those interactions filled with difficulty, conflict, or pain. By embracing love and compassion as guiding principles, we liberate ourselves from the shackles of resentment, bitterness, and emotional bondage. We open the door wide to reconciliation, healing, and redemption, not only for ourselves, but also potentially for those who have hurt us. Today, God's message to you is one of incredible hope, redemption, and transformation. Choosing forgiveness and love over resentment and hate can profoundly alter the course of your life, leading you toward emotional freedom, spiritual maturity, and deep inner peace. God fully understands the heavy burdens of pain you carry, the scars left behind by mistreatment. But through His infinite grace, compassion, and strength, you can rise above your past pain, overcoming even the deepest scars. Moreover, seeking redemption involves extending forgiveness not only toward others, but also toward ourselves. Many of us carry within us feelings of guilt, shame, and regret for our past actions and mistakes. These negative emotions can seriously hinder our personal and spiritual growth. Yet, God reminds us lovingly that we are all imperfect beings, prone to mistakes and errors. Seeking His forgiveness liberates us from guilt and allows us to move forward with newfound purpose, clarity, and joy. When we accept God's unconditional forgiveness and grace, we are empowered to lead a life guided by His love and wisdom. When you encounter mistreatment, always remember that you are never alone. God's comforting presence and boundless love surround you, guiding you steadily toward healing, compassion, and peace. Choosing to forgive those who have harmed you is one of the most courageous and empowering acts you can undertake. It frees you from the chains of bitterness and resentment, allowing you to embrace a fulfilling, purposeful life defined by spiritual growth, emotional freedom, and abundant compassion. While mistreatment undeniably causes pain and suffering, always remember that the person who inflicts harm is also experiencing their own form of suffering. Responding with genuine empathy, compassion, and love breaks the vicious cycle of negativity, opening the doors to healing, reconciliation, and profound redemption for all involved. Always remember you are deeply and unconditionally loved by God, and your worth is immeasurable. Walk confidently in the knowledge that you are not defined by the mistreatment you have endured, but rather by the divine love, strength, and light that radiate powerfully from within your soul. Choose love. Choose forgiveness. Embrace these powerful decisions and watch as your life transforms into a remarkable testament to the extraordinary power of compassion, empathy, and divine grace. Take God's guiding hand with confidence and trust, walking courageously on the path of forgiveness, love, and compassion. Discover the extraordinary peace, liberation, and joy that inevitably arise from living a life centered profoundly and unwaveringly on love and compassion. Allow yourself to be guided each step of the way by God's eternal wisdom, grace, and unconditional love. Know deeply in your heart that forgiveness and redemption truly are the ultimate keys to a peaceful, joyful, and purpose-filled life. Thank you, Jesus, for everything. I wholeheartedly claim this message of divine forgiveness and redemption today.